Tarumbeta italia katika anga.
Like this.
Hatutoroki leo. Zima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee. Zima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee.
Nene. So jana ilikuwa pia ni another day of press conferences, and the press conferences were to justify what had happened over the weekend, and not maybe justify but maybe clean names. And of course wase at the center of this ilikuwa ni Sifuna na Babu, because kuna vile gava decide to push the narrative that akina Sifuna are using their own tear gas and tear gassing their own events, and then causing chaos at their own events, which makes no sense. But unajua in Kenyan politics, hata hapa ukiendaga online unapata gawa wasona sema umsa amelipwa, umsa na criticize gawa lakini amelipwa na the same gawa to distract. So those stories are always there, and I guess the government knows that Kenyans are naive enough to believe that someone will tear gas their own event. And so Sifuna na Babu waliamua kuitisha press conference. Wacha tusikize.
Mimi nataka niseme tunasikitisha kwamba serikali ya William Ruto na polisi yake wanajaribu kutugeuzia mambo ili hali wao wenyewe ndio wenye kuleta vurugu na fujo katika mikutano ya hadhara. Wewe unataka kuniambia ya kwamba mimi Sifuna naweza kutarajia kwamba nitatoa fedha zangu mimi mwenyewe, niandae mikutano, kisha nipige tear gas mkutano wangu mimi mwenyewe, kisha tumshike yule ambaye amepiga tear gas tumpige tena sisi wenyewe? Itawezekanaje bwana?
Of course kuna shindo kuna sikia mtu in the background. This was the fact that wali visit the Kitengela victims home. So I guess maybe ni mtu yake alikuwa kwa background, and hizi mics nina kanzile za kuchukua kila kitu azichukui tu like the mouth that's in front. That's why mtu yeye anasikika clearly, because like I'm looking for the kid, I can't see the kid, but the kid is clear.
Itawezekanaje? Tunataka kuambia kwamba hatutatishwa. Wakenya wana uhuru wa kutembea, Wakenya wana uhuru ya kushirikiana, Wakenya wana uhuru wa kuzungumza na kusema mambo yao. Tunataka katika mfumo wa demokrasia kila mtu apewe ruhusa ya kusema mambo ambaye anahitaji kusema ama anafikiria kwamba ni sawa kwake.
Okay, so hiyo ilikuwa Sifuna, and of course vile unacheki hapo like up right next to here ilikuwa ni Babu, na pia Babu ilibidi address the same thing because government mistake na hiyo kitu, and even the government bloggers are doing the same thing. I think hiyo jina Linda Mwananchi unapata kuna place inaitwa Linda Tumbo, sijui Linda Mfuko, yani watu wana come up na all sorts of Linda something to just show that it's not about the Mwananchi but it's about these individuals, specifically us wawili. And I can say kulikuwa na very interesting post from Charlene Ruto, and we'll be coming to that. I was there like, Charlene, what are you trying to tell us? But wacha tusikize Babu.
Today we have a widow, Hadija, who will never see her husband again. We have Hadija, who doesn't know where to start from. No business, no job, but with a baby. A baby who expects to be educated, but there is no job for her. Just because the police decided to end the life of her husband, Vincent Ayomu. We know very well that freedom of speech is allowed anywhere. It is a right. It is the oxygen of democracy. You cannot prevent leaders from talking about the interest, the issues affecting and challenges affecting Kenyans.
Alafu hii kitu inakuwaga interesting because during Uhuru's time, Uhuru used to call Ruto Tanga because alikuwa anasema that Ruto, instead of working, Ruto is campaigning, and basically that's what Ruto was doing. Najua straight after the second swearing in, Ruto just hit the ground and started campaigning, and eventually got his leadership. So it's kind of ironic that ye mwenye atakiwa sawa campaign, and I'd say Uhuru let him do his thing. Apart from kumita Tanga, alimwachia, you just do your thing. And for him to, cause wasako around here, of course they get that energy from him, and that's the energy that they get, that they need to stop other people from campaigning, and it's actually pathetic.
Therefore, we condemn this act, and we say that that police officer should be brought to book, because every police officer leaving a station clearly left a station with a gun, and the gun is known, and all the bullets are numbered. The cartridge, we know what happens during such incidents, but
I think the thing about this is a lot of cops get away with it. Once in a while, we have the cleansy barassas who are captured on camera. But even the guy who will shoot Rex Masai, he seems that he's going to get away with it. So I don't think there's enough. Vilamusamaga, like when there are no consequences, people don't act in a certain way. Like people will act recklessly. Na kama juzi kulikuwa na ile story ya Karatina. I don't even know what happened to those cops, but kumbuka ile Karatina where 2 cops were arguing with someone kwa petrol station and they just decided kumwangusha. And I remember there was some little outrage, but then I've never seen that in the news again. So your story will disappear. So I feel like that's what happens with cops, where cops will always look at, can I get away with this one? And if they can get away with it, of course they are going to do it. And pia inakuwaga ile story ati damu, I don't know how true it is, but wale waswashani ni damu, they kind of act funny. And of course ikikam to hii fight ya Babu specifically amekuwa kipoint at Raymond Omollo. So of course amedu kuna press conference alitisha last week Friday, alikuwa amejam kabisa. Then afterwards akaenda on Sunday, akaenda Citizen, said the same thing. He's been very consistent. And sasa jana pia alikuwa ameishia KTN. And who did he decide to talk about? Raymond Omollo, man. Like we na Raymond naka ameamua tu ni ekonane
ruling tomorrow. And I want to tell the PS for insecurity, Raymond Omollo, to stop misusing the police, number 1. Number 2, to stop misusing our youth. We see him going around Kisumu, other parts of Nyanza region, building 1 or 2 houses for widows. He's the one creating these widows. He created so many widows during Ongondowere's time. He created so many widows when they were going for by-elections in Kasipul. He created so many widows, even including yesterday. Yesterday, there's a widow that was left there. Tomorrow you will see him going to construct a house for that widow.
Damn, okay. Kuna shindwa what he means by that ni unajua hizi chaos zikikuwa kama ile ya Kisumu where those guys were waiting next to the airport. Of course someone ended up dying, so that was a widow created. And now in Babu's mind, the fact that according to him Raymond alikuwa involved in organizing magoons, inamaanisha he's the one who's creating the widows. And even if baadaye he comes to save them through building them houses, which I don't know if he does that, he's the one who's creating widows. And damn, man. And it makes me think, did I know the PS was security under Uhuru? Who was it? Because of course we knew about Bubuda mwingine, tulikuwa tunajua juu ya Matiang'i, but who was the PS for security your time? Kwa najua baki umenishtua hapo. What was Kibicha's position? I don't know if it was that, but there was a lot of widow making pia your time, but I don't know if the PS was ever mentioned. I don't think the PS was ever mentioned, but hey.
So my brother, Ongondowere was assassinated. You remember that? His main PA called Calvo, whom Raymond Omollo employed at Lake Basin. Are you aware that he was arrested because he's the one who was planning and executed the assassination of Ongondowere? Are you aware of that? So my brother, these things are being organized by the state for the...
Damn. Okay. I don't know. Every time he talks about naogopa jo. I think, if I'm not wrong, aliendaga chuo na Zach. Wacha tuuliza Zach, like, did he used to look at him funny and be like, you know what, this guy, But before niendelee, kulikuwa na hii headline ya leo ya The Standard. Na headline ya The Standard ilikuwa ni shameless CSs. Then ikakuwa mining CS Hassan Joho and his energy counterpart Opiyo Wandayi in action at ODM rallies over the weekend would have been easily mistaken for ODM youth wingers. That was 2 days after Treasury's John Mbadi hosted Luo elders at the ministry's boardroom and discussed ODM affairs. They aren't alone. Some of these administration CSs consistently flout sections of the Leadership and Integrity Act on political neutrality, exploit a thin line between publicizing government policies and hot politics, and end up turning the spirit of the law into a joke. And of course, this is one of the things that happened. Ile tulimaking a mistake. Kuna time ilikuwa that CSs should not be politicians. Then of course the politicians needed those positions, so they changed the constitution, and now you have CSs who are politicians. And of course this nonsense will keep happening. Do I blame them? No, I think I blame the Kenyan people, because somehow 1 minute tutataka this, then the next minute, because there's a reason why in the new constitution this thing these people are supposed to be najua like ilikuwa technocrats, but then we decided to go back to politicians, and that's why you have funny politicians in quotes funny dockets. So you have the likes of naitwa nani, Duale kwa health, but Duale kwa health looks like it's actually better than Susan Nahumicha. Go and tell them Her Excellency was at your school, Her Excellency was there. So it's been that nonsense. But still, let's look at the opposition kidogo. The opposition ilikuwa funny jana, because for the first time I think niliona umadha naitwa Millicent Omanga akiland some heavy punches on Ruto. Najua so najua akiland what some heavy punches, so alikuwa namuita kaongo. Acha tumsikize.
Najua mama Mirai 2022 ndiye alikuwa kule deep pale kwa Kasongo, si mnajua hivyo, na mimi nilisimama na yeye kabisa kidete. Mimi nataka kuomba msamaha kwa sababu mimi sikujua ni kaongo. Nataka kuomba msamaha, mmenisamea. Hebu nione wale mnasema mmenisamea.
Okay, sikuwa najua ni kaongo. Okay, so ilikuwa ni hiyo. Alafu if there's one thing that Ruto is always accused of, is Ruto is accused of grabbing this and Ruto is accused of grabbing that. And it shows how interesting Kenyan politics is, that integrity, kuna kuagana hiyo the Leadership and Integrity Act, your page specifically the Leadership and Integrity Act. I feel like there needs to be a toilet paper company that just reprints that page on top of a toilet paper. Ndio sisi wote tukienda choo we just tunapanguza tu nayo haga, because there is no integrity. And because when you look at a situation whereby the president is always accused of theft and it's just a normal Tuesday, we just go about our business. So jana kuna umse anaitwa Methu Mohea alikuwa amepost, a mysterious farmer has grabbed 2,000 acres at Egerton University's Njora campus meant for agri activities. The mysterious farmer has a small abode in State House. Oh shit, man. I don't know. No. And what else? Of course, Gachagua pia still fighting Ruto, which is something that we expect. But as I keep insisting, I don't know, man, but sometimes Gachagua needs to STFU, because he'll always say something that ends up taking away from something. So what did he do? Alikuwa ameishia Masai za Kisii, alafu akaamua kuattack one of those two MPs wa Masai za Kisii. Waga some dude who I know anakuwaga very, what's it called? Anakuwaga very annoying, but still I feel like you should not go that tribal route, and that's what he did. Ali baki ameanza kucriticize huo mse, I think with his Indian ethnicity. I don't know how Indian this guy is, and of course tunakuwaga na ingine Babu Owino na Miguna, but as I always say, if you're a former deputy president, you have to measure your words more than the average Kenyan ama more than the average politician. But wacha tumsikize.
Huyu muhindi idi aende asiende. Sasa nyinyi watu ya Kisii, hata nyinyi ni viongozi mumekosa. Mliangalia na mnaimu kaona mwongozo na muhindi. Sasa nyinyi mnataka nichekelee nyinyi. Aha.
Mcheki. Cause na kama juzi tukiwa na dem flani hapa muhindi and Ruksar alikuwa nabonga juu ya the fact that even after wameishi in Kenya for generations, like her family tree ni over 100 years old hapa Kenya. This is all they know. They know nothing about India. They are still not accepted. When you have mse kama nani, like Gachagua saying that, and then that's, you know how it's going to be cut. It's cut and it's just put out there. So I remember like wasema like, look at this guy, if he comes in, he's going to treat Indians badly, he's going to do this, and of course that's not what he's going to do, but that's how he sounds like. Sijui kwa nini ufanyaga hivyo, nashindagwa but still na nikidigress kidogo, wacha ni go back to kitu na sikuwa nimebonga juu yake. There's an accident that people are sharing and they claim that this accident was actually entourage ilikuwa inatoka from the president, and I don't know how true this is, but inaanza na maprado, so unaweza chiki prado kinakuja hivi, alafu inagonga ingine nyuma, alafu ingine imegonga ingine, alafu you can actually see at a radiator ikileak. And when you see this, unachikia sana umefurahia that this has happened, but don't forget this is what they love. You'll find hizi gari zimenini hivi, maybe wanaandika ni write off, then they sell to themselves like even at $1,000,000 shillings. They'll do some crazy stuff. Unaweza pata hata ni write off inaseliwa even at 200,000 shillings, na sayo ni gari ya gava, wanaifanya tu wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Yes, unaweza pata msana drive Prado hapa at 200,000. So when I see these things, I don't know if I should be happy, because I don't think these people make accidents. Ati kitu kama hii hasa wanakuwa professional, unandagizo magari zinafuatana, for them to have this key very what can I say, it looked like a very amateur accident, like papa na Prado zimegongana. To me, I don't buy it. It's just one of those things where I think that these guys are trying to make extra money and they know that Kenyans watakuwa watajazika, like angalia sewa one time a few Kenyans will justify, even the Lord does not love them. Sa hiyo sewa najua they know what they're doing. Nacheki
Konene, najua mwaka ni mpya lakini injili ni ile lemfi. So kama uko US, uko UK, uko Canada ama uko the UAE na unatry kutuma do Kenya, baki umechangamka, ingia lemfi, utabaki umepata the most competitive rates. Lakini apart from that, on your first transaction ya $100 or more utapata $20 sign up reward. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, chap ingia lemfi, international payments for everyone. Konene.
So so tukitoka hapo still as we stick with the opposition, lazima tubonge juu hii clip moja, and the clip was wanasema that Rigathi Gachagua ameamua lazima Sifuna join side yake. Acha tusikize.
Kwani mlikuwa na uoga itaibiwa?
So one of the things ile of course alibonga juu yake hapa ilikuwa the same thing that Matiang'i had talked about, and that's the rigging of elections. So kumekuwa na ile design ya kuna watu wanaogopa that an incumbent can steal. Why? It's happened in Kenya before, it can happen again. And Gachagua anajichocha iko zile hizi happen, maybe he knows something we don't know, but so that's what he starts, anaanza kuongea juu yake hapa mbele.
Ninaona mlikuwa mnaigiza baridi atakula naibiwa. Ni vile tu amjui. Hii mjamaa tumeweka kwa kona. Si ndio? Kalonzo amefunga Ukambani, amefunga Pwani. Si ndio? Kesho tunaenda na Matiang'i kufunga Kisii na Kuria.
You bring up tribalism, and niko sure kuna sort of it's the reality. You can just say Kalonzo ameshikilia Wiper, nimeshikilia, just be diplomatic, but he makes it so obvious. So utasikia Kalonzo Nini, Eugene Western, Matiang'i Kisii.
Kesho tunaenda na Matiang'i kufunga Kisii na Kuria na Nyanza. Si ndio? Eugene Wamalwa anatembea na Sifuna wamefunga Magharibi. Si ndio? Si Nairobi mmefunga? Na Mlima? Imefungwa haijafungwa? So hii jamaa atapitia wapi? Kuna msijali, don't worry.
Okay, so ulikuwa na hiyo. Let's wait and see. Ikikam to history ya rigging, am I 100% sure that it's impossible? Personally, I'm not 100% sure. Do I hope that maybe it's going to be hard for that to be done? Hopefully, it's just one of those things. But kuna kitu ngo nasema juu ya Charlene Ruto. So Charlene alibaki post something that I found to be super interesting, because right now who's at the helm? It's her dad, and her dad is the one who has the power. And Charlene had tweeted that power doesn't fear noise, power fears organization. Then akaandika game changers. Okay, this is interesting. Which power? Because your dad is power, and your dad should fear, at some point I think feared the organization, especially of the youth and the Gen Zs. But then the youth and the Gen Zs ended up devouring each other. And I guess maybe the dad right now is so comfortable that this girl can just decide, you know what, I'm just going to post this. And it's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. And still talking of the dad and talking of fake news. Kuna ude moja ule alihaga tree for 72 hours. Yes, naitwa Trufena. And after she hugged the tree for 72 hours, there was a whole debate around, did she do it? So someone created a fake account yake. And I think she even came out and said, someone has created a fake account. Na jina yangu, I'm not on Twitter. I think that's what she said. Then what did the fake account post? So the fake account ended up posting that they were going to vote for Ruto. And kitu moja ni jazz ni, tunakuwaga na hasira. So after hii fake account, like kuna zile vitu nasemaga, like you should just look at this and be like, how real is this, the probability of this having been said by her. So ilikuwa ni Trufena Modhoni, then at Trufena Modhon, hakuna ile I. By the way, I'll vote for Ruto very unapologetically. Then raya fulani kaandika, ndio maana ulikuwa na panti moja 82 hours kino. Okay, yeah, that was a diss at her. Now the real person, you see where the fake person, nika ile story ya Cat Williams versus Dave Chappelle. Ile kuna fake Dave Chappelle alikuwa na diss nani ilikuwa ni a fake Cat Williams alikuwa na diss, a fake Dave Chappelle alikuwa na diss a fake Cat Williams. Then the fake Cat Williams started outshining the fake Dave Chappelle. Lausa Dave Chappelle patinaga story ati the fake Cat Williams was so brutal to the fake Dave Chappelle that the real Dave Chappelle started getting his feelings hurt. Then eventually Dave anamit Cat Williams hapo anamuuliza like, hey Buddha jo, unajua mimi sina Twitter. Then Chappelle amwambia pia mimi sina Twitter, kwani what's going on? Nacheki. So I think it's the same thing na Udem. I don't think you go out here telling us who she's going to vote for. But yeah, I don't think that's the case. And talking about voting and talking about Kenya as a whole, kuna kitu moja ile happened last week. I think it was on Thika Road. And after this thing happened, of course, Gachagua alitokea alafu akaiput like it's a fight against the people of the mountain. And tuko in a very tricky situation as Kenya, because for us to move forward we need order. But this order comes at a price, and that's the worst thing about it, because we're all trying to hustle and we're all trying to survive, because you know the conditions and the circumstances and everything, we're trying to make our lives better. So in the process, the Kenya National Highways Authority wame release a statement, and this is ilikuwa ni the Kenya National Highways Authority wishes to notify all roadside traders operating along Thika Superhighway at Kehuguro, both rounds, all stops, both bounds, and Delview sections to remove and clear their wares from the road reserve within 7 days from the date of this notice. That means by 30th February. Okay, by 2nd of March. So inamaanisha by the 2nd of March kila mtu anafaa kuwa ametoka. Then ikaendelea, this project is part of the authority's ongoing road safety initiatives that seek to reduce accidents, enhance order within the road reserve, and ensure the unobstructed flow of traffic along the highway. All affected traders are urged to comply within the stipulated time frame to avoid enforcement action in accordance with the relevant laws governing road reserves. So this notice has been put. We are going to politicize this notice, and it's sad. We are going to politicize this. So the probability that anyone is going to remove their wares within 7 days, if you have to ask me, out of every 10 traders, maybe 2 will remove and 8 will remain. Then when this is broken, mtuka Gachagua atakuja alafu ataipoliticize, or someone else will politicize it. And this is sad. But do I also understand why this happens? Yes. Because maybe what you need to do is, if you are running a country that is divided, make this notice for Thika Highway, and because you're trying to maintain a country and you have to maintain the harmony, look for another section that maybe has another dominant in quotes tribe and do the same thing, so that at least your mtu asiweze kuipoliticize. Otherwise this is going to be politicized and it's just the Kenyan way, you know, you just end up with a bull. So yeah, let me wait and see what happens, but you notice ni up to 2nd of March. 2nd of March should be when kama 23rd was on Monday, 2nd of March should be Tuesday. Yes, 23rd was on Monday. No, 2nd of March should be Monday itself. Yes, so Monday to Monday. So by Tuesday, I guess I say ama your Monday night watakuwa ki enforce that, and I'm sure there are people who are going to lose a lot. Sometimes better to be safe than sorry. If it's your road reserve and wamekuachia you operate on that, you just take, sometimes you take your losses. If you need to set up somewhere else, you go, you lick your wounds and you try somewhere else, because if rules were followed, a lot of businesses in Kenya would not be there. Najua ile umangatu unaonaga kwa barabara aswa bodaboda wakikeep right as everyone else keeps left, that would not be there. But you know, it is what it is. We live in a country where like rules zinakuwa ni followed for political, ama ni rules are just discarded ama disregarded for political expediency and political favoritism and all that nonsense. So I don't know, man, but yeah. So niambie, was it? I feel like it's going to be a very interesting 2027, man, because let's say that the united opposition sticks together and let's say that they pull off this victory against Ruto. What's going to happen after he sold Safaricom? Amesell Kenya Pipeline, ametutengenezea conference center. Hata jana alikuwa anatuambia how we need another conference center ya 42 billion. Of course kulikuwa na the other report that came out that even kumbuka tunateta that we are going to have to pay an extra 100 billion for Talanta Stadium. But now according to the Auditor General, there's already an 11 billion that was stolen. So with all this in mind, do you think that if a new government comes in, they are going to go back and check and be like, you know what, this guy did 1, 2, 3 things and he needs to pay for that? Ama is it going to be business as usual? Because that's what it's been. Najua imekuwaga tunasikia kitu kama Eurobond, for example, where under the Uhuru government a lot of money was stolen. I think close to $500 billion ilikuwa stolen. When Ruto came in, he couldn't go after Uhuru because alikuwa naogopa it's going to be turned into a tribal thing. So now this 11 billion, I think at a Daily Nation alikuwa na hiyo audit exposes 11 billion Talanta Stadium scandal. Remember there was another 11 billion ya nini? Ilikuwa nini? There was another 11 billion ya damn, it seems these people love 11. Kumbuka ile time Murkomen ilikuwa everything ilikuwa ni 700 million. So if these new people come in, because this is a lot of money, this is money that can change so much, are they supposed to just leave and let leave? Ama is it time for people to start going back? Go back and be like, you know what, it's public knowledge that Weston is built on public land. So what should happen? Some prosecutions and some demolitions, and you know, that should happen. 11 billion. Saizi kuna watu, I think kuna pilot alikuwa anatuambia hii story. A certain pilot who's an Nini fan. Funny enough, it's not kila mtu anafikia ni Otwe, but this was actually not information we were given by Otwe. It was like a Nini fan, ni pilot na wagana ana fly kutoka Masai za Wilson. Alikuwa anasema ukiangalia Ngong Forest katikati, there's a lot of construction going on. So all these things also make me wonder, is this guy actually planning to live in 2032? Because he's breaking so many laws that I'm there like I'm 50-50. Like, this does not look like someone who's planning to hand over power, and because there can be a lot of prosecutions and a lot of follow-ups. So, but I don't know. But still, he's still one man, and if the rest of Kenya says we are not going to accept you to mess around with the constitution. There's nothing he can do about it. The best he can get is till 2032. And even after that, if he gets that, will someone go after him and try and recover Ngong Forest and all these other forests, akina Karura, because Karura pia kuna construction, try and recover vile umesikia hapo stories za Egerton University? Will someone go after that, ama will it be business as usual? I don't know. Iko nene.